Big White Beats.
Happy Thursday, 573. Bring the music back in. There we go. You're listening to the Breakfast of Champions here on KCOU 88.1 FM, the student voice for Mizzou Athletics. Hope everybody's had a phenomenal week thus far on this overcast, cloudy Thursday. I'm standing up. I want to get the energy going, get the blood flowing. I've been a little tired all day, and hopefully these guys in studio with me will be able to bounce some of that energy off and get me going over this next hour that we got you here. Right to my right, I know you can't see it, this is radio, but to my right, he is beautiful. He is ever so dashing. His mother says he has a face for radio, like me and Brandon, myself. Our mothers say this all the time. It is Mr. Ryan Crothers. Ryan, how you doing this wonderful Thursday, man?
Oh, I am doing so good right now. I have a
Hockey's
headache.
back.
I have a headache,
Yeah.
I will say, but
Hockey's your ibuprofen.
Yeah, hockey is all I need in life now, and
Yeah.
it's back. We'll talk about it later.
Beer and hockey, baby.
I'm doing so good right now.
You're on cloud nine, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Smiling. Oh, my goodness. Right over here, man, we got a lot to talk about with your San Francisco 49ers, man.
We do, man.
We will be getting into it, but with that being said, how's your Thursday going, Mr. Brandon Anthony?
You know, I slept the latest I've ever slept for this show start time. So
Yeah.
I woke up at 10:30. I would usually go to Starbucks and get my coffee and get ready for the show. And I was like, well, can't do that because I just slept till 10:30. So,
Well,
you know
lesson
what? Could be
learned.
better, but, you know.
Set a coffee alarm next time. I tried. All right. Tough crowd today. Jeez. All right. We got a lot to get into. We're talking about John Gruden. We're talking about hockey, Ryan's Rink at the bottom of the hour. And then we're going to be getting into a new segment, and we call it Sound Off. This might get a little loud in advance. It's going to be loud. I'm not even going to lie. The topics we're going to be arguing, it's going to be like presidential debates from last year. It's a little more intense than that because it's sports and these guys are wild. Testosterone's going to be through the roof. So, in the meantime, we do get into some serious topics, starting off with the John Gruden situation. We're going to skip out on the Fresh Brew and just get right into discussion here. So, if you weren't around for Monday Night Football around halftime or maybe in the second quarter, somewhere around there, it was announced that head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, John Gruden, resigned after last week emails surfaced in which John Gruden sent during 2011, which would have been the NFL lockout. He sent these said emails, and let me get the article pulled up, guys. You might have a little bit more insight as I get seated and situated. If anybody wants to bring in some of the stuff that was said, you guys can go right ahead. If anybody wants to give some insight on this, I'm getting the emails pulled up right now. Please excuse me.
Yeah, so John Gruden gets emails leaked from 2011 and a couple more recent emails leaked where there's a bunch of disturbing things that he said about a whole lot of different people. He basically said, and he didn't say this, but what he did was basically offend almost every single type of person you could, right? He had racial slurs. He had homophobic slurs. He made fun of the commissioner of the NFL. And the things he said, I read some of the emails, and I was like, dude, that is just terrible to say. You know, you should never say that, let alone put it out there for the internet to maybe find out someday. Because nowadays, you say anything, it's out there forever, and people are going to find that, right? So, one, you should never be saying or even thinking the things that he was saying. That just shows that you're a bad person. But I will say that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers officially removed him from their Ring of Fame in the stadium in wake of the news. And we had some players, I believe it was Keyshawn Johnson, came out and said that he's always been a bad person. And a couple other players have come out. And I know today, it actually might have been yesterday, but I saw the report today that Carl Nassib, the first openly gay player in the NFL to start and play, he was on the Raiders, which is obviously who John Gruden used to coach for.
Yeah.
He took a personal day off. Either today or it was yesterday, but he took a personal day off because of the John Gruden news and everything. So lots of bad stuff from John Gruden. It really shows how bad of a person he is.
And to kind of get into the nuts and bolts of what you're saying, this is according to the. I'm pretty sure this was. Let me go back up and cite this one. This was from the Wall Street Journal. So I was right. So on July 21st, 2011, the National Football League and its players were working to resolve a lockout, and this is quoted. A lockout that threatened the upcoming season. That day, the league owners voted to ratify a new collective bargaining agreement, but the players opted to vote on it immediately, citing outstanding issues that the union was fighting to resolve. That same day, John Gruden, the now former Las Vegas Raiders head coach, had been one of the most prominent figures in the NFL over the past 2 decades previous, sent an email to DeMaurice Smith, I'm pretty sure I pronounced that right, the executive director of the NFL Players Association, to a team executive. Gruden's email described Smith with a racist trope common in anti-black imagery. DeMaurice Smith, this is quoted directly from John Gruden's email. Quote, DeMaurice Smith has the lips the size of Michelin tires, he wrote in the email reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. Some of that's horrible. That's not condoned, and really this puts a damper on the image John Gruden had previously had. Go back to his time with the Raiders previous to this stint, and with the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers removing him from their Ring of Fame in light of this situation. Brandon, what are your thoughts on John Gruden being resigning from the Las Vegas Raiders as the head coach?
I mean, I definitely think it was surprising, just kind of when we were sitting there. We were watching the game together on Monday night, Keegan, and then all of a sudden that news kind of broke out. It's you never know when kind of a person that's been around the NFL and has been like on Monday Night Football and has done draft coverage and stuff like that. It's obviously been a coach of the Raiders the last couple of years in kind of what he thinks and what he ended up saying. Kind of similarly to what Ryan said, the first thought that popped into my head is we're all on this show going into some form of journalism and of that nature. So that this should serve as a wake-up call for all of us, just to remember whatever you say out there through whatever form of media can come back to bite you, and this is a very good example of that.
Yeah. No, it's a good lesson. Ryan, you had something? Go ahead.
Just be a good person.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. I mean, we're all three of us are good people, and I'm just kidding. But all three of us, we are good people, and the people I've met here at Mizzou, most everyone's been a good person as well. But it's like you're not going to get in trouble for anything in your past or in the future if you're just a good person.
Yeah.
And clearly, we found out on Monday, John Gruden is not a good person.
I do want to ask, and kind of sticking with, I mean, it is obviously the same topic. From a player's perspective, how difficult might this be for, say, Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr, Darren Waller to kind of because this happened so instantly. Like you said, we were just sitting there watching Monday Night Football between the Ravens and Colts. Great game, by the way.
It was a good game.
Phenomenal game. But, I'm not even certain if some of the players knew. I think they did a report during halftime talking to one of the journalists that covers the Raiders, and he said that some of the players were shocked that had happened. But I feel like you could cut the tension with the knife after last week's emails. Obviously, the racist comment that Gruden made in that 2011 email, it arose, and that was kind of a turning point in this situation. But from a player's perspective, Brandon, I'll start with you. I mean, what do you think is kind of going through their minds as they get prepared for a tough battle? They play the Broncos on the road, and they've got, their interim special teams coordinator is stepping in as their interim coach. What's the thought right now, you think?
Oh, I definitely think it's just kind of demoralizing for Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs and all those guys, because the Raiders are having a pretty good season thus far, especially
right now.
Especially with John Gruden coaching, and all of a sudden he's gone. You have an interim coach coming in. And, I don't know. I don't care what you say about just kind of what coaches certain coaches have an impact on particular offenses and teams in general. Mm-hmm. And I think adding in this new interim coach for the Raiders, I think it'll take him a while to get accustomed to his sort of style of coaching. So I think it definitely will play a big factor.
It shakes up the locker room. I mean, imagine if today Andy Reid all of a sudden couldn't coach the rest of the year. Right?
Yeah.
Nothing bad. Maybe like he just can't. Personal reasons he can't coach the rest of the year. That would shake up the Chiefs organization, right? Mm-hmm. So the head coach, where the quarterback is usually the face of the franchise, right? The head coach is almost the mastermind of it all, right?
That's so true.
And they are a face of the franchise, but they're pulling the strings. I mean, they are basically the heart and soul of the team and how they play on the field. And when all of a sudden a 3-2 team, they've lost 2 straight, but a 3-2 team all of a sudden loses their head coach, and especially in a way like this, I don't know. I feel like that's really got to affect that locker room for now. At least maybe in a couple weeks it'll be better off for them, but for right now, I would assume that the chemistry's off.
It brings up a lot of question marks. I think this kind of dampens the outlook that we had kind of perceived for the Raiders. They started off strong against the Baltimore Ravens, had a great home win, in front of their home crowd for the first time. I mean, energy was at an all-time high. And then, you lose to the Chargers, and then you just lose to the Bears. It's just like, man, you just cannot catch a break. Then you get this John Gruden news, and it's like, it feels like it's just going into turmoil. And as much as, I mean, you know me, I'm a Broncos fan, and Brian's a Broncos fan. Honestly, our blood could care less about them, but you kind of feel for the players. You do feel for them in this situation.
For sure, yeah.
Because this is a difficult thing to overcome, and this is so sudden, and it's very difficult to turn around. I feel bad for them even more because they go on the road against Denver, and I hope that we can turn the tide around. And I'm wishful thinking. I'm hoping that we can turn the tide before they can. But all that aside, all competition aside, it is definitely demoralizing to see these players go through it. Now, real quick, what do we think the coaching outlook is? I mean, guys like Eric Bieniemy could be looking for a job next year. And I heard this as a potential conspiracy, not even conspiracy, but hypothetical. Ryan, what do you think about the next coach up for the Raiders? What are we thinking here?
I think it lands on how they do the rest of the season. Because if their interim head coach, Rich Bisaccia, if he steps in and say the Raiders make the playoffs, right? I think it obviously depends on what the team wants to do, but if Bisaccia can lead this team to the playoffs and keep them on when they were 3-0, make that team come back, you might have to roll with him if he's coaching a team like that. But there are options out there. There's some good coaches. There's a lot of good assistant coaches out there, like Bieniemy. He was in the coaching carousel last offseason. We all thought he was going to go somewhere for sure. But, I mean, there's people like Vincent Jackson for the Buccaneers. I mean, he's been a phenomenal coach. That just popped into my head. But there's definitely assistant coaches they could be looking at that you could either give them a shot at head coach because they haven't been one before, or maybe a former head coach, maybe have them try again. But I don't know. I think it really falls on how they do the rest of the year, and they might roll with Bisaccia if they're good.
Yeah, Brandon?
Yeah, I think guys like Bieniemy and Brian Daboll, like you guys have been talking about, are guys that could potentially lead the Raiders. I agree with what Ryan said. I think if Bisaccia comes out and performs well, coaches well, I think there's a potential possibility that they stick with him at the helm next season. But, I mean, with all these other guys that are going to be looking for coaching jobs, I fully expect the Raiders to go through a big search before they just go run it back with Bisaccia. So, I mean, it should be interesting to see where they go.
For the Raiders, for their next 6 games, they're on the road against the Broncos this week in Week 6. Week 7, they go on to play the Eagles, and then it's the Giants, Chiefs, Bengals, and Cowboys. That's your next 6-game outlook. How are we feeling about their outlook right now with that being said? Again, that's the Broncos, Eagles, Giants, Chiefs, Bengals, and Cowboys, your next 6. What do we feel about their record there?
There's 3 really hard games on there. And then there's 3 games that, I mean, you could win. You know, I don't see personally. I don't see they are the only team to really beat the Chiefs almost every year. I feel like them, and honestly, the Broncos are the only divisional team that can't beat the Chiefs. The Chargers have beaten the Chiefs several times last year.
Jeez.
The Raiders beat them last year. I don't know. I think this game on Sunday is really tough. It always is tough. That rivalry between the Broncos and the Raiders is a special one, but I don't know. It's not the nicest stretch of games for them, I would say, but it could be worse.
I definitely see some winnable games on their schedule there. Some tough ones like the Chiefs and
Cowboys,
yeah.
Even the Bengals.
We should
talk
that's
about
a tough
the
game.
Bengals
It's not
one
a
day.
pushover game,
Yeah.
so.
We talk about the Bengals now in 2021 like we talk about the Browns. Like, what the hell just happened?
For real.
The Steelers suck and the Bengals and Browns are good. It's like, what world do we live in?
Still-
And the Patriots didn't even make playoffs last year. So it's like, if you would have told me Patriots, Steelers, no playoffs, Bengals, Browns, playoffs.
Playoffs, yeah.
You're sitting there thinking like, what alternate universe is this?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have entered the matrix of the NFL. This is absolutely all blue pill stuff going on right now. But anyway, so we ended that segment quicker than I thought we would, and I got to leave enough time for sound off. But you know what that means, Ryan?
We're closer.
Oh, buddy. We're taking a
closer.
break. And guess what? I'm gifting you more time to talk Ryan's Rink. So do not, please do not go anywhere, because this man, I know he comes prepared. He's the only guy in this studio that can really thoroughly improv. So when he comes back, we're talking Ryan's Rink, ladies and gentlemen. Teach us how to hockey.
Ooh.
Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Breakfast of Champions here on KCOU.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Okay. Hey, this is KCOU 88.1 FM. Are you trying to release the hottest project of this year, possibly next? Come down to our studio in the Student Center, and we can mix, master, record, edit, engineer your whole project, your whole artistic experience wrapped into one visit. Please come down and visit us.
If any of this interests you, please email sessions@kcou.fm.
You love them enough to do anything for them,
Mom, I need to be wiped.
Coming!
including checking nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Breakfast of Champions show here on KCOU 88.1 FM. Your voice. Messed it up. I'm just so excited.
Rewind.
I'm just so excited. Okay. Hockey
So
is
your
back.
email.
Was that mine?
It's too soon.
Oh. I get it. Nice.
Let's keep it G-rated. Ryan's Rink.
Yeah. First of all, before we hop into that, there's something exciting tonight. And tonight is a very special night. At 7 o'clock on Stankowski Field, my flag football team has our first playoff game.
What are you?
Oh.
The playoffs.
The playoffs. Yeah, I had to bring that one up. I don't know. It just popped in my head. I was like, I'm just so excited about hockey that I could say anything. Right? I'm slap happy. You know, you could slap me right now, and I'll be like, yeah. He just did. He just slapped my hand, and I'm happy. Hockey is blank back. Let's go.
Blanking back. There you go.
Yeah, blanking back, flipping back. You know, the NHL on Tuesday officially dropped the puck on the 2021-22 season. It is the first full 82-game season, regular season, full crowds, and all that. It's the first real season of the NHL since 2018-19 season.
So let me ask real quick, how much did you miss it?
Oh my God, dude. I mean, it was the shortest off season that I'll ever experience.
Yeah.
But when your favorite team is this close to a Stanley Cup and you get your heart absolutely ripped out of you, it felt like the longest off season, right? I have been counting down the days. I made a plan for what I was going to do to watch the Avalanche game last night. I made that plan about 3 weeks ago. That's if that doesn't, like, I don't plan things until the day of usually. I made this plan. Yeah, ain't that the truth? I made this plan 3 weeks ago. That's just how excited I am, or was. I still am. This is also very exciting. It's the first year that the NHL has been exclusively on ESPN since 2004.
Heyo.
Interesting.
ESPN got the rights to the NHL, and from I don't remember how long the contract is. So there hasn't been a game on ESPN in 17 years?
Real quick, because you're the hockey guy, and
Yeah.
I was just curious. Typically, when we're watching NHL, it's on NBC. Like, you have the Outdoor Classic and everything. Are they going to be able to buy the rights of the Outdoor Classic and put that on ESPN?
Yeah, the Winter Classic will still be there.
Excuse me. Winter Classic. Ryder's Cup right there.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Because they have some outdoor games, like Stadium Series. It's not the Winter Classic, so
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Just do better.
Those are... those games, the NHL has the rights to the names and to the games, so it'll just be on ESPN. It'll probably be on ABC when it comes, but the NHL, several games throughout the year will be featured on ABC, TNT, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and ESPN and Hulu have a deal, so you could even... I always see Baker Mayfield dressed in a green jersey saying Hulu has live sports on commercials. And they do. I guess you could watch some hockey games on Hulu if that is your thing. So that's really exciting for that NHL because now it actually means ESPN's going to talk about the NHL, you'd think.
Yeah. Since
that never happens. So the game might actually grow. I think it will grow, and I'm very excited about this move to ESPN. So that's what almost made it even more special. ESPN, NHL on ESPN has its own like soundtrack. You know, Monday Night Football has its own soundtrack, right? And I miss that sound. And so when I heard it again for the first time in so long on Tuesday, I was pumped.
When's the last time it was featured on ESPN?
2004.
2004.
Yeah. I will say the Avalanche didn't win a cup on NBC, so I think if we go back to ESPN, it might be our year. But anyways, Tuesday, let's get in to the first night of the season. It was very special as they featured the defending back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they lifted their championship-winning banner into the rafters at I always mispronounce the stadium name, but in Tampa Bay, right? They hosted the Pittsburgh Penguins, who were without Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. And this was the first time that the season kicked off for the Penguins that neither of them were playing. So not just one, but neither of them since like 2003. So that's how long it's been since both Malkin and Crosby missed the first game. But that did not mean anything to the Pittsburgh Penguins as they beat the Lightning 6-2 and spoiled their championship hoisting banner night. Granted, it was so weird. It was 3-0 Penguins with 6 minutes left in the game, and the Lightning pulled their goalie, which was super early. Usually teams pull their goalies with about 2 minutes, 2.5. If you're down 3-0, you might pull them at 3 minutes, right? Pulled them at 6 minutes, so 3 empty net goals for the Penguins, 2 garbage time goals for Lightning, so 6-2. But that was a little spoiler, and it was kind of fun to watch, I'm not going to lie. The second game of the night was one that we will never forget, as it was the first ever game for the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah. Brand
New team. And the NHL's newest team played their first game in the desert against the NHL's second most recent team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas jumps out in the game, takes a quick 3-0 lead. And I bet on Vegas -1.5. I hate Vegas. Let me tell you this. I hate Vegas. So rooting for them was really hard.
Same division, right?
It was last year, but they went back to their original division, so we're no longer in the same division. But
what about the Kraken?
The Kraken are in the Golden Knights division.
Oh, the Kraken.
What made you want to cheer for the Vegas?
Because I bet on them.
Oh, okay.
I bet on them to win by 2 or more goals.
Parlays in Vegas.
I did. I had a nice parlay going, and so Vegas jumps out 3-0, and I'm like, let's go. But then the Kraken fight back. And in the third period, they tie the game at 3-3. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Vegas is going to somehow win this game by 1 goal so they still win, and I'm not going to get my money.
I want my money.
And sure enough, the NHL is in full swing if the Vegas Golden Knights are being protected by the refs and the Kraken are officially welcome into the NHL if they're getting screwed over by the NHL and the refs, right? There's a play, shot gets saved by the goaltender, Philip Grubauer. He was Avalanche goalie last year.
Okay.
Goes right to a Vegas player, and he kicks the puck into the net. That is illegal. You are not allowed to kick the puck into the net. If there is a clear kicking motion, that's where it's illegal. If it hits off your
that was like the opening, like that was in the first period, wasn't it?
No, this was in the third period when it was 3-3.
Oh, I was thinking of the goalie, the part where he goes up to. It was in the first period. We're talking about Vegas Golden Knights and the Kraken here.
Yeah.
Goalie goes up and he goes to grab the puck. I want to say, and it was like early on in the game. Mm-hmm. Goes at. I was just trying to differentiate penalties here.
No, I'm just say because I missed most of the game.
Well, like it was like the ref did this motion or something like that, and it was like he was, I don't know, it was like a toss or something. And so I was just thinking that I can't hockey. I'm sorry, Ryan.
It was probably a hand pass.
I was trying to impress you, and I can't impress you. No, I really tried to watch hockey.
I'll teach you everything you need to know about hockey.
Thanks, man.
Most people don't watch hockey, so you got to realize most of my friends from like back home that are now really big time Avalanche fans.
Oh yeah.
Didn't know anything about hockey until I introduced them to the beauty of the game. Right?
Hockey is hard.
Oh, it's so hard. It's hard to follow.
It is hard.
It's
hard to follow.
You lose the puck pretty easily. Once you start watching hockey all the time and get used to it, it's pretty easy most of the time. But I remember when I first got back into hockey, I'm like, where is the puck? How do people watch this? But
I bet you got good hand-eye coordination because of watching the game now.
I've always had good hand-eye coordination.
There you go, man.
Come on. Anyways, Vegas player clearly kicks it. If it bounces off your skate and goes in, that's fine. Or if you're in the middle of your skating motion and it hits off your skate and goes in, that's also fine. This guy straight up sees the puck coming and kicks it in. They call it a goal, they review it, and still call it a goal. Everyone on social media is like, well, welcome to the NHL Seattle. Now you know what it's like to get screwed over by the refs in Vegas. Because it happens all the time. You know, the Vegas odds. But anyways.
The odds.
Anyways.
I'm at odds.
The Kraken pull their goalie, and Vegas doesn't score an empty netter, so they win by 1 goal. And that was worst case scenario for me, because if Vegas isn't going to hit my bet, I want the Kraken to win, right? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't happen.
Aside from your parlay, you do bring up a good point with the empty net. I did watch the Penguins and the Lightning game, the first game of the night, and I know that there's been a lot of controversy about the final 5 minutes of the third period when the Lightning strategy was to go empty net. And the Penguins, I want to say, scored 2 goals off of that one. 3. Excuse me. I was off by 1. But still, like, what's the strategy behind... This is going to sound so stupid for any hockey fan. They're going to be like, dude, shut up. But I genuinely want to know.
That's fine.
Like, what was the strategy of the final 5 minutes having an empty net? Just removing your goalie entirely. I think maybe 4 of the final 5 minutes, it was an empty net for the Lightning.
So... Like I said earlier, they pulled their goalie with 6 minutes left.
Oh, excuse me.
And usually teams pull their goalie with 2 minutes left, right around then. But if you're down by 3, which they were, most teams will pull them at about 3 minutes left. You pull your goalie because once your goalie's on the bench, you get an extra skater out.
Oh, so
then
more
it's,
defense.
It's offense. More offense.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
No. I was kidding about being kidding.
You okay? Perfect. So when you pull your goalie, you get an extra skater out. So it's 6 on 5.
Yeah.
You have 6 players against 5. Obviously, you don't have a goalie in net, so the team has a free net to shoot at. But what you'll see if a team's down by 1 in the last minute of the game, it's super exciting because the team trailing has that extra skater, and they usually control the offensive zone, rip a couple shots on the tendy, and it's chaos, right? The teams will try and shoot the puck from their own end and into the net. It happens probably like 10 times a year. You get a full ice goal on an empty netter. It's pretty fun, but unless you're losing. But yeah, so that's the strategy. I thought it was way too early for the Lightning to pull their goalie with 6 minutes left. And the Penguins scored 3 empty netters, but the Lightning did score 2 goals with that extra attacker. So, I mean, it worked in a way, but you still lost 6-2.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, like last night, the Colorado Avalanche, I'll talk about them in a second, but they're winning 4-2.
Yeah.
Chicago pulled their goalie with like 2.5 left. So they wanted that extra attacker, but did not win or score. But you'll see if it's a close game every game, you'll see an empty net.
Okay.
Being pulled. Yeah.
Well, I like that. I do like the concept of that. Now that you break it down, it makes sense.
It makes the game
much more
chaotic and intense. What you need to watch is overtime hockey, because typically it's 5 skaters against 5 skaters, and then they each have a goalie, right? In overtime, it's 3-on-3.
So it's like penalty kicks in soccer, pretty much.
No, that's a penalty shootout. Penalty shootout, yes. But in overtime, it's like normal hockey, but each team only has 3 players on the ice.
I got you.
And so if you make a mistake, most likely the team's either on a 2-on-1 or on a breakaway, and has a golden opportunity to score. And it's literally 5 minutes of nonstop, no one's sitting action, you know? Yeah. Go on YouTube and like most exciting 3-on-3 overtimes.
Metaphorically speaking, we've only spent 10 minutes on this topic, but I feel like I am literally slipping on the ice. Like I haven't even touched ice. I've never skated in my life, and I'm just laying down on the ice.
Well, I am going to ask you a question about hockey here in a second.
I can't hockey. You might just have to send this one.
You can ask me, but I can't hockey either.
No, he's from Minnesota.
It's easy.
It's in his blood.
I'll break down the number. It's a numbers question, right? I'll break down the numbers. Let me just get there. You both can answer it.
Analytics, let's go.
So last night, first big slate of all the NHL games. There was several of them. I think there was maybe 5. There was a couple really good games. And due to time constraints, I'm going to only talk about 2 of them. But the Washington Capitals, they made a statement against the Rangers last night. They won 5-1. It was highlighted by a 2-goal game by Alex the Great 8 Ovechkin. Alexander Ovechkin.
Ovechkin.
Everyone knows the name.
Seen him play in person.
But that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I have not seen him play in person. So,
When did you go to a hockey game?
I went to a Washington Capitals game in 2018 when I went to Bethesda, Maryland. I got free tickets.
They
I
won
was
the
4
cup that
rows
year.
up.
There you go.
No, excuse me, 2019. It was the year after they won the cup. It was against the Sabres. It wasn't anything nice, but the game still went to
Yeah, the
overtime.
Sabres suck. But here's what's important. Ovechkin scores 2 goals, and that put him 5th all-time in goals scored in the NHL.
Is he going to get the goal record at the end of the year?
So,
Oh, there's a question.
here's my question. Keegan and Brandon, do you guys think he's going to break the all-time scoring record? He is 36 years old, which is pretty old for hockey. Okay, they retire about the same time as most professional sports, just because it is such a physical game. So,
What would you say? Is it 35, right?
Take Tom Brady. No, I'd probably say like a lot of people do retire at around 35. But I'd say probably more like 37, maybe. You'll see if they're starting.
What
to
age
fade.
did Gretzky retire?
I actually don't know that one, but Gordie Howe retired at 50.
Okay.
That was back in the day, but
I'd like to buy a vow. I don't know who that is, but okay.
Me neither, but, yeah.
he's the best all-around player of all time.
Okay.
Which might be
Debatable?
debatable. But anyways, so Alex Ovechkin's 36 years old. He says he has a couple years left in him, and he's 162 goals behind Wayne Gretzky's goal record.
Right.
So here's my question to you.
Yeah.
162 goals behind. The most goals Ovechkin has scored in a season was 65.
Oh, jeez.
The least amount of goals that Ovechkin scored in a full season was 33. I'm not counting the last two. Well, last year he scored 24 in 45 games. So
He's been plagued with injury like the past couple of years after the championship, right? Like he's had to deal with injury at least one of those years.
No.
I thought he was.
No. He missed one game in 2019, and then last 2 years ago in the bubble year, he's missed probably like 6-7 games in total over the last 3 years.
I hope you like
Maybe 10
humility,
years.
Brandon. I hope you love it. I hope you indulge.
So in the 68 game season 2 years ago, he scored
68 game.
He scored 48 goals. And last year in a 45 game season, he scored 24. But in a full season, the least amount of goals he scored was 32. The most he scored was 65, but that was his 3rd year in the league. So he usually wins the Maurice Rocket Richard Award, and I'm not even going to ask you to guess what that is. It's the most goals scored by a player in the league, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And so he usually hits right around that 50 mark.
Okay.
Do you guys think that he will score 162 goals in the next couple years?
Brandon, you've been in the peanut gallery this whole time. How about you answer the question and you can indulge in humility? Go ahead.
All right, fair enough. 162 over the course of how many years?
We don't know. It depends on when he wants to retire and how long he can stay.
Do I think he'll
solid.
break the record? Is what
Yeah.
you're asking me?
Do you think he can and will?
He averages how many a year?
I'd have to crunch the numbers, but in how many seasons is this now? Like 16 seasons, he scored 732 goals.
I think he can do it. I mean,
Yeah.
give him a couple seasons, and then we'll see where he goes from there.
Yeah, if he stays at that high level that he's been playing at his whole career, I think, he probably could. Keegan?
As I pan the camera back over here. I don't even want to participate in this segment because I'm getting made fun of.
No one's making fun of you,
one's making
first of
fun
all.
of you.
No one is making fun of you. You're making fun of yourself, if anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm stumbling.
That doesn't matter, though.
How many goals did you say?
He's 162 behind, and in his 16-year career, he's scored 732.
How old is he now?
36.
36. How many years do you think he's got left?
It's tough. I mean, he's got gray hair and a gray beard. Like he looks old. He is old for the sport, but
You want like a blind man, like a blind take
I
right
just
here?
want a blind take.
He'll make top 3, but he's gonna have to have good performances consistently for the next 2 seasons. If his highest is gonna be what you said 60 what? Right? You score in a single season.
65 is the most he scored in a single season. But
So,
that was
yeah.
his 3rd year in the league.
Okay.
So that was a while ago, right?
And
He usually averages right around 50 goals a year.
okay. Well, then there's
So
a chance.
That's 4 seasons.
And I'm not talking good singing, baby.
Yep.
There we go. All right.
Okay, one last game to talk about.
Fair enough.
Okay. The Stanley Cup betting favorites and the reigning President's Trophy winners, the team that finishes the best at the end of the regular season, President's Trophy.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. The Colorado Avalanche returned to the ice last night with a solid 4-2 win over the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yes.
The game did not feature one of, if not the best player in the world right now, Nathan McKinnon.
COVID.
Because he tested positive for COVID. He is fully vaccinated.
Kept up with that. I'm 1 for 10 right now, baby.
You're almost 3 for 10 because you watched.
I did.
I was surprised
the first
you
two
watched
games on Tuesday.
It was the only thing that was on.
You're 5 for 10 because you've seen Alex Ovechkin play in person.
Well,
You're low key on a roll right now. I know
It's an
you
F
think
grade,
you're not,
but we'll take it.
Well, I mean, I'll shoot for Fs sometimes. But anyways,
Fantastic.
the Avalanche honestly really dominated the game. They went up 3-0 in the first period, and the shot totals were 18-2.
Mm-hmm.
Like straight up dominated. The Chicago Blackhawks scored on a power play goal, and then the game got a little fuzzy towards the end of the game for me last night. But the Avalanche won 4-2. And really looked really impressive without the world's best all-around player right now. So it was very exciting.
That would explain why I heard a bunch of screaming coming from my roommate's room, who's a Blackhawks fan. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a lot of screaming. There was a controversial hit.
At least it was that.
There's a controversial hit by the Avalanche captain, and so that's probably what he was screaming about. But it's 11:49. Let's get into our.
Oh, boy.
We're probably going to break, right?
Yeah, we can go to break, and then when we come back, we are going to be talking sound off. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, I want to introduce this one because I've been so excited for it. And yeah, when we come back, we're talking sound off. If I can get something to play, don't go anywhere. You're listening to
Hockey's back, baby.
Hockey is back. Oh, boy.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than serving your country. It's about being there for your community when your neighbors need you most. The Army National Guard makes college affordable, and serving part-time can help you graduate debt-free. Do you want to stay close to friends and family? The Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving part-time in the Army National Guard lets you have the life you want. Learn more by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Missouri Army National Guard. Aired by the Missouri Broadcasters Association and this station.
Make sure to start your week off right by listening to General Admission on KCOU 88.1 FM from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Monday morning.
I think he's wrong, though. It's a heartless move. You're agreeing and disagreeing on the same topic. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing that it wasn't a smart move. I'm just not disagreeing with Anthony Davis's dad either.
Once again, that's General Admission from 8 to 9 a.m. on KCOU 88.1 FM for the latest updates from the MLB, NFL, NBA, and the NCAA.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm keeping the music on to kind of balance us out. This going to get loud. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a new segment on Breakfast of Champions. With 7 minutes to go, let's see if we can get it. It is sound off. How does this work? Let me tell you how it works. So these two gentlemen right next to me, Brandon Anthony and Ryan Crothers, they are going to sound off on the topics that I have listed off here, all surrounding the NFL, nothing hockey. Sorry, Ryan, maybe next time. Maybe we get some basketball in because basketball's back. So with that being said, we just got to get right into it. So let me explain it. In sound off, the guys are given a series of questions, fill in the blank statements, and are prompted to quote-unquote sound off with their opinions on the topic. In the segment's inaugural appearance today, here are some of the questions that we are asking of you. First, aside from their Super Bowl appearances, the Super Bowl appearances of that of Patrick Mahomes, from a statistical standpoint and considering the player personnel that both QBs have on their offenses, their current rosters, is Justin Herbert, let me parenthetically say, is Justin Herbert, or has Justin Herbert proven he is better than Patrick Mahomes thus far in his career? From a statistical standpoint, I'll let you sound off and give your opinions, but I'll give my opinion last because I know you guys will give me crap. What?
Bro, this would have me cracking up before the show even started looking at it.
Why? Why?
Because it's like, of course, you would put it in here as a topic. Is Justin Herbert better than
Because
Patrick
it's becoming more of a relevant topic.
Hey, no, don't forget. He was the one defending Patrick Mahomes a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but now I'm saying
remember that? He's a Mahomes fan. He's a big Mahomes guy. I think Justin Herbert right now this season's better than Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
This season he might be better, but overall I don't think he's better.
No. Justin Herbert this time next year, Justin Herbert the year after that, Justin Herbert for the next year, you can book it. Justin Herbert will be better than Patrick Mahomes.
Until Justin Herbert puts up 50 touchdowns or 5,000 yards, then I'll consider him as being better
Justin Herbert
statistically
has
against
beaten
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes twice in his career.
Yeah,
twice.
Patrick Mahomes has beaten Justin Herbert
twice
as well. Yeah,
2-2.
Yeah.
He's got a sub 500 record against Patrick Mahomes. Justin Herbert is the best quarterback in the AFC West after this season.
I love.
He is better than Patrick Mahomes. And you look at the statistics that I got on there. How about you go read them? Justin Herbert right now, QBR 66.3, completion percentage 67.2, passing yards 1,576, touchdowns 13, QBR for Patrick 75, completion percentage 69.2. Nice. Passing yards 1,490 yards, touchdowns 16. Justin Herbert versus the Browns, just taking away a game that they both played in versus the Browns. 26 for 43, 60.5 completion percentage, 398 yards, 4 tutties. Patrick Mahomes, 27 for 36, 75.5, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Justin Herbert is better than Patrick Mahomes
this year.
And with a lesser personnel. With a lesser personnel. You have to take that into consideration.
This year,
anybody can just put up stats from 2 games that each quarterback played against
But with
his
a
Browns
lesser
team.
personnel, you don't get what I'm saying. With a first-time head coach who's a defensive head coach and a lesser personnel, Justin Herbert is better than Patrick Mahomes.
This show
and you
is
can
going
book it
like so smooth and so loving until this.
because I was ready to sound off. I was ready. So's Nipsey.
Sound off.
So's Nipsey. All right, sound off. Lamar Jackson. We don't even have to get into the games because we're running short on time. What time is it? I don't even have
11:54.
11:54. We got 5 minutes on this one. I love this one. All right, Lamar Jackson.
I know where you stand on this one, too.
Sound off on this one. Lamar Jackson has solidified himself as an MVP quarterback candidate after his first 5 games of this regular season. Had a great game against the Colts. Great comeback. I will give him that. Brandon, go ahead. Sound off.
Yeah, he solidified himself as an MVP candidate for sure.
All right, Ryan.
He's probably top 5. I'd probably put him at 5 or 6.
Is he a tier 1 elite quarterback, though?
Yep.
And you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot.
Sure.
Call me when he gets past the divisional round and makes it to the AFC Championship and wins that.
All right, could be this year, bro. Could be this year. Lamar Jackson has always been an elite tier 1 quarterback.
No, he's not.
Just because of him being
oh
able to run.
my God. Oh, do you hear yourself right now? He is not to the likings of Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes. He's a tier 2. He's always been a tier 2. He's a tier 2.
Tier 2 is like a 15 quarterback in the league.
Josh Allen's better than him. Aaron Rodgers is better than him. Tom Brady's better than him. Russell Wilson's better than him. Deshaun Watson, when he's not in trouble, is better than him. And Patrick Mahomes is better than him.
Yeah, so he's like 7. Basically,
Hell,
that's still tier 1.
Justin Herbert's better than him. Kyler Murray, on his way.
Yeah,
he can actually pass the ball, unlike Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has the arm.
Your whole vendetta on Lamar Jackson not being able to pass the ball is complete bogus. He's
the
able
only
to pass
thing
the
that
ball.
makes him good is he can extend plays, and he needs to because Harbaugh is a horrible coach. He's not good.
Led him to the Super Bowl, but all right.
In 2011, when Joe Flacco was elite, come on, man, and he had a good defense. That was a storied defense right there.
Jeepers creepers, Keegan.
Lamar Jackson is overrated.
This is why he said this is going to be intense, because he picked topics that he feels passionately about, man.
I am passionate about these. These I can talk about. This I can actually hold my ground against. Lamar Jackson is overrated, and I'm the only one that thinks that, I guess.
I don't think he's overrated.
I'm not. I haven't even said anything.
Ryan, go right ahead. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to not include you in the conversation.
He has it, for real.
No, I was just kind of enjoying, But no, I think Lamar's a bit overrated.
Okay. I agree.
I think he's a bit overrated.
We're on the same page here.
I do think he is. I think tier 1's pretty big.
Yeah.
I think he's at the either low end tier 1 or at the very top of tier 2.
Okay.
Slow end tier 1. I just think this is a whole. You're just doing this whole thing because you're still salty about the fact that he lit up the Broncos when he said he wasn't going to. So there's that.
Well, when both your offensive guards are hurt and you have Drew Lock playing in the second half, that tends to happen. So, yeah, that'll do it to you right there. Our defense played pathetic against their offense. One more before we close out the show.
There's another one.
What time is it?
11:57.
Okay, we're running up. Buffalo Bills, best team in the AFC. Best team in the AFC.
You just say NFL.
Best team in the NFL? Sound off. Agree or disagree?
Yep.
Definitely agree.
All right. You heard it here first, folks.
You just need to go slam a couple blue bombs.
For the Buffalo Bills. Cheers to them, baby.
Anything. I mean, anything.
Mazel tov.
Every Wednesday, me and my friend Colby we're at B12 slamming blue bombs. So
you want me to come join?
Let's do it.
Wow. A communion. Say less.
Slamming blue bombs.
An open invitation to go slam blue bombs. DJ Mega. Look, I like that. I like how we get the promo in. Look, it's telling us we got to go. So with that being said, you're listening to the Breakfast of Champions here on KCOU 88.1 FM. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. Have a good one.